It's a massive, massive night now after the results Rovers have had. They really could do with a big performance and a big result, and we hope to bring it to you all exclusively live on Rovers World Match Live. It's Barclaycard Premiership action. Fulham against Blackburn Rovers. I think there will be a different team tonight to what Graham Souness has in mind for Saturday against Leicester. Tonight is more about getting something from the game. I think Saturday against Leicester really is a must-win game, and you know, that might be why he's maybe rested Brett Emerton. It's his first season in the Premier League. He has played an awful lot of games. He's only missed 2 for Rovers all season. He's had 1 substitute appearance. Other than that, he's missed 2. One was very early on in the campaign. The other one was just after Christmas in the FA Cup. And maybe he just needed to be taken out of the side for at least 1 game to maybe freshen him up for the weekend. Because, like we say, the weekend, if Rovers could have 2 people wide, it would certainly help the strikers, and that's the one thing in the last few games that we've noticed. The goals have started to dry up a little bit. It's been one of Rovers' traits all season. They are, you know, decent scorers throughout the Premiership season. It has been conceding goals at the other end that's been the problem. We will need to start scoring a lot more if we are to stay in this division, and we are at crunch stage now. Let's not kid anyone. This is the time now where we have to start getting points.
I think it's quite likely now we'll see a different Rovers lineup for every single game we play between now and the end of the season. Not a case of tinker, man. Graham Souness hasn't got the squad to be able to tinker wholesale. He can't play 2 completely different teams from Monday to Saturday, Saturday to Monday. But what you will see is different players will come in for different games. You have, of course, got the option of Matt Jansen, who isn't on the bench tonight. You've got Paul Gallagher, who is on the bench tonight. You've got the possibility of Dwight York coming back into contention. Andy Todd, of course, is missing a game tonight. Niels-Erik Johansson on the bench to shore up the defence, and then you've got to look at the possibility of Barry Ferguson coming back and having an influential part to play in the closing games of the season.
We really hope so, don't we? I know it puts a lot of pressure on him after such a serious injury, but he is such a big player for Rovers, and I think Graham Souness and every single Rovers fan is absolutely desperate to see him back in a Rovers shirt, and the sooner really the better. I think even in Rovers' situation, if you were Graham Souness, you would have to be tempted to put him in as an 80% fit Barry Ferguson.
Well, I think we're likely to see Barry Ferguson stepping up his training. Reports that you may have seen in some news media about Barry Ferguson not playing before the end of this season are completely denied, both by the club and the player, and that's something that we hope to be able to bring you on Rovers World this week as well. Chat with Barry Ferguson to update you on the latest situation. I don't think he's going to figure too much in side games. I don't think he'll figure too much in the reserves, but I think you will see Barry Ferguson featuring for Rovers in the first team well before the end of the season. I would imagine 3 or 4 games, almost a must for Barry Ferguson. So tonight we have a different Rovers lineup. My suggestion is that we'll see Andy Cole and Jonathan Stead up front, 2 guys just behind the front 2. We'll see Gary Flitcroft, and we'll see Anderson and Jonathan Douglas in midfield, and then the back 4, which has Vratislav Gresko replacing Michael Gray from the side that started on Saturday. Loftus Road, Rovers World and rovers.co.uk.
And we are underway. Rovers will kick towards the home end where most of the Fulham fans are gathered in their away kit, of course. As we mentioned, the gold top, the black shorts and the hooped black and yellow socks. Fulham the white shirts, black shorts, white socks. So we didn't give you the Fulham line-up beforehand. They will line up within goal. Number 1, Edwin van der Sar. 2, Maurizio Volz. 16, Zach Knight. 24, Alan Goma. 34, Carlos Bocanegra. 14, Steed Malbronk. 17, Martin Jetu. 5, Sylvain Legwinski. 11, Luis Boamorte. 23, Sean Davis. And up front, a debut for 36, Collins John. I'm sure we'll get that wrong throughout the course of the night, but Rovers look to come forward in the early stages inside the penalty area, cleared for Fulham up towards halfway. Gresko, first chance he has to touch the ball, his header goes backwards, and then Amoruso plays it upfield. Volz heads it high up in the air. Zach Knight heads that one away towards Flitcroft, beaten in the air and then picked up by Collins John, laid back towards Bocanegra, who's an American international, already had a colourful start to his career at Fulham. He was signed during the January transfer window. He was sent off against Aston Villa for a horrible tackle not too long ago. He's finished that ban now and he's back in the Fulham lineup. We'll see a shot on the TV screens of Graham Souness, and he will be nervous now because with the results earlier on today, the Portsmouth results, Rovers really have to get something here today to have results in their own hands between now and the end of the season. Otherwise, they are starting to rely on other sides. Craig Short fouled there, and referee Mike Dean gives us a free kick. This referee hasn't been too kind to Rovers already this season. We've had him 3 times. Fulham have yet to have him, so their first time tonight. In the games he's refereed for Rovers, he gave a penalty against us early on at Chelsea in the season. It was a 1-1 draw at Manchester City, rather uneventful. And then at Ewood Park, when Rovers played Southampton, he denied us a cast iron penalty when Graham Lasso brought down Brett Emerton.
How many times have we said that this season? Said it again on Saturday with a challenge, which I think anybody who sees it after as a challenge on John Stead, Michael Dewberry on John Stead, would say that there was no way that the referee's assistant couldn't have seen that tug on the shirt. And Rovers once again go through a 90-minute game without being awarded a penalty decision, which I think everybody would have agreed was rightfully theirs.
So still not had one this season. Vols just nicks the ball away from Jonathan Douglas. Good chance for Fulham to come forward. Sean Davis on the right-hand side. A 1-2 between him and Mal Bronk. Cleared in the end by Douglas. Comes off Jetu's head up towards halfway. Bocanegra's there, and his touchdown isn't a good one. Gary Flitcroft for Rovers plays the ball forward. He's fouled by Legwinski, and it will be a Rovers free kick.
How did Amoruso's performance on Saturday surprise you? First game back.
Well, I was quite impressed by Lorenzo and Craig as a partnership. Obviously, it didn't help having gone behind in 90 seconds, and I was just going to say before, it's nice that we've not actually conceded a goal by this point in the match. We are 3 minutes in, so this time on Saturday, Rovers were behind. But I thought Amoruso and Short did all right. Viduka and Smith are a top Premiership partnership, and Short and Amoruso handled them pretty well for the majority of the match. I mean, it's obviously good for Lorenzo to be back and back playing. I thought, considering it was his first game in 6 months, he did all right for Rovers. Amoruso on the ball at the moment, sprays the ball towards his left-hand side. Stead is onside, inside the area, looking to cross it. He does do it, right across the face of goal. It was ahead of Andy Cole, ahead of Gary Flitcroft, who was coming in, and it's gone out on the far side for a Fulham throw.
Oh, a great ball from Lorenzo Amoruso there. Found Jonathan Stead out on the left-hand side. Jonathan Stead beat one player, took it inside the penalty box. If anything, Jonathan Stead made a mistake there by delivering that ball just slightly too fast and on the face of goal. It'd have been better if he'd have just maybe eased his pass, because Gary Flitcroft was steaming in on the near side, and Gary Flitcroft would have the simplest of tap-ins to go past the Fulham goalkeeper Edwin van der Sar.
Well, I thought it was a great ball from Jonathan Stead. He did really well inside the area. I mean, his first touch was superb, and then he just drilled it low along the face of goal. It was close to van der Sar, but it beat him. It just also beat the Rovers attackers who were coming in.
Is that a goal poacher shot, one, where you see somebody there in a position where they're thinking only of one thing, and that's scoring?
Well, maybe. I don't think it was a shot. It was more a cross. It was just unlucky the way it managed to beat both players. Neil thought he was fouled as Amoruso clears. Nothing given. Malbronk heads the ball high in the air. Douglas challenges for Rovers, and Stead's there. Vols gets there first, and then again Anderson tight on Sean Davis as Vols looks to come forward. He goes down under the challenge. Jonathan Douglas did get a touch there. Anderson now for Rovers. It looks as though he'll just sit in front of the back two. Neil now advancing down the right-hand side, trying to run at Bocanegra. His first touch is a poor one. It's out for a Fulham throw.
Well, Lucas Neil there seemed to hesitate with his run. He took off after a great ball, took off, and then decided to check and stopped, and then went on a second run, and by the time he picked up the ball, his touch was a little bit too heavy. Ran into touch for a Fulham throw, and I think Lucas Neil was a little bit surprised that he was the one doing all the attacking there.
Well, in all honesty, he has to provide some width with the line-up Rovers have. Both him and Gresco will have to try and get forward, but more importantly, they have to do the defensive duties, and I think that's why Neil just hesitated there. He was just making sure they didn't get caught. Ball forward towards Cole. Knight half heads away, finds Malbronk on the right-hand side, midway inside the Fulham half. Gresco gets a touch on that one, and it's played back down the line for Douglas. Stead picks that one up. Poor touch by the Fulham defender. He turns to the left-hand side, looking for options. There's no one there really. Sean Davis comes across, finally gets a foot in. It's out for a Rovers throw.
Should have come wide to Gresco there. Jonathan Stead just caught Vratislav Gresco at the corner of his eye. Should have played it wide, ready to go on the overlap. But good work from Rovers.
Throw taken. Stead thought he was fouled as Flitcroft comes across. As Jetu cleared, Flitcroft just got the late touch on him. It will be a Fulham free kick.
Going to have to be very careful, Gary Flitcroft. I think with the lack of cover in midfield, the last thing you want is Gary Flitcroft picking up a couple of yellow cards and having a short spell on the bench.
The thing about Rovers' formation today, with the midfielders he's gone for, essentially gone for 4 central midfielders. it looks as though Rovers will try and press Fulham and not allow them to play, and that must be in Graham Souness's mind for this match. Amoruso heads the ball away from the edge of his own penalty area. Jetu held it back. It might fall for Collins John though inside the area. It doesn't do. Friedel smartly off his line, and he kicks long upfield towards Cole, who had a fantastic game this time last year here when Rovers, of course, ran out 4-0 victors. He didn't get himself on the score sheet. There was 2 for Hakan Suka, 1 each for Damien Duff and David Dunn. But Andy Cole was superb on that night and really deserved to be on the score sheet. Malbronk turns away from 2 Rovers players. He's still going. Flitcroft tries to come across. Malbronk's pass hits 2 guy, and then Zach Knight spreads it back to the left-hand side to the American international Bocanegra. Signed from Chicago Fire, as we mentioned before in the transfer window. Neat little play by Fulham, just keeping the ball at the moment. Jetu, very much a defensive midfielder, on loan from Parma, will just sit in front of the back 4. A loose pass, and Lucas Neal clears upfield, and Edward van der Sar outside his area will find Alan Goma.
Well, Rovers containing without pressing too much here.
That must be the idea. The longer this game is kept at a 0-0, the better it is for Rovers, and you know, sooner or later you would think that they would create an opportunity. The most important thing, the way they've played this season, is to be sound defensively and not make mistakes.
Well, I think cavalier is one thing you don't want Rovers to be at this stage of the season, and I've got to say I've been quite impressed with the way they've applied themselves in the first couple of minutes of this game. Certainly not shying out of any challenges, trying to get a grip on the midfield, which I think they've done, and the ball's certainly been far more in the Fulham half than it has been in Rovers' half.
Anderson beaten by 2 Fulham players. The ball's kept in on the far side, is it? Yes, it did. It came off Boa Morte, and Neal picks it up. Flick ball forward, one for Cole to chase up against Zach Knight. The touch is a poor one, he gets away with it, and Bocanegra clears up to halfway. Neal beaten in the air. Malbronk's there for Fulham, and he'll now try a run at the defence. He goes past Gresco, and then Amoruso comes across. Amoruso then handles the ball as he goes to ground. I wonder whether he'll get a yellow card for that. It was a deliberate handball. He just absolutely skinned Amoruso and Gresco for pace. Nothing is given, and he won't receive a card, but it'll be a Fulham free kick in a dangerous area.
Well, very interestingly there, I thought Vratislav Gresco took the sting out of that attack, and Amoruso was left just chasing wind there a little bit. Very fortunate that he didn't get the booking.
Zach Knight is a danger. The ball comes in, headed away by Gresco, and then Stead puts it high in the air. 2 guy will challenge, doesn't get the ball. Flitcroft stands on it just outside his area, goes back to Friedel, who kicks up towards halfway. Stead is beaten by the ball, it goes over his head. Gresco just heads it back in the air, and 2 guy, almost his first touch, finds Anderson. Douglas towards the right hand side finds Flitcroft. Flitcroft just chips it over Boa Morte's head for Lucas Neal. He's now inside the Fulham half. Cole's ball finds Anderson. Anderson then finds 2 guy, and 2 guy goes backwards when he had time there to turn. Loose ball by Short could put Rovers in danger as Malbronk just dances past Gresco and then looks to the far side. Flitcroft has got back to redeem for an earlier mistake by Craig Short, and he found Brad Friedel.
Was a mistake by Craig Short, and I thought Vratislav Gresco was very, very lucky that when he took a bit of a dive to try and grab hold of the Fulham player advancing forward there, the referee didn't see an infringement, and I think he probably just failed to connect there, because it would have been a very, very, very dangerous booking for Vratislav Gresco so early in the game.
Knight controls the ball and turns away from Andy Cole deep inside his own half. Zach Knight, who has come through the Fulham ranks after joining from Rushall Athletic. Very little known club, in fact so little we know very little about it, but he's on the verge of getting an England call-up according to some newspaper reports. He's done very, very well. Fulham have actually kept 3 clean sheets in the last 3 games, and he's been a big, big part of that. Formed a very impressive partnership at the heart of their defence alongside the Frenchman Alan Goma. The ball's with Brad Friedel at his feet. He just drops it and walks outside his penalty area. Decides finally to kick long upfield when called under pressure by Collins John. It comes off a Fulham defender's head, and Andy Cole will give chase. Zach Knight just gets there, puts it out for a Rovers throw deep inside the Fulham half on the left hand side.
That's where you notice a lack of width when Andy Cole had to come from virtually the outside of the D in the penalty box to retrieve that ball right at the corner flag. The far side, as we look at the pitches, it's a Rovers throw-in.
I think Jonathan Douglas just suggesting that he might try a long throw here, thrown into the middle. Stead tries to flick it on. Anderson inside the box, can't get a touch. It's cleared in the end by Legwinski out to this near side for another Rovers throw.
Very experienced midfield for Rovers, apart from Jonathan Douglas, isn't it, today? 2 guy, Flitcroft and Anderson, all of them no football
I've been a fan of Jonathan Douglas when he has played, though. He certainly does a battling job, and that's the kind of person Rovers need. Throw-in taken towards Douglas, goes past one man. He controlled it with his left arm, according to referee Mike Dean, and it will be a Fulham free kick taken quickly towards Collins John, who's the only Fulham player upfield. It's drifted away from him out on the far side for a Rovers throw. And John, who's only made 2 substitute appearances before today, but he did actually come on at the weekend and score 2 goals for Fulham at Leicester, which was a good result for Rovers at the time. Just hope that he has used up his goals for the time being. He does get his first start today. Legwinski looks for the overlapping run of Volts on the right hand side. He'll get there, faced by Gresko. He tries to whip the cross in, comes off Gresko's head, and it's behind for the first corner of the match.
Well, this is where Rovers really need to be tight. This is where they were undone on Saturday. An early corner, 1 minute 20 seconds into the game, and Rovers were woeful when it came to marking Jonathan Stead, particularly at fault. And you see now that Fulham certainly are packing the box.
Sean Davis, a very talented young English midfielder, whips it to the back post. The header's won by Legwinski at the far side. It's come off a Rovers defender, who is Craig Short. It's gone behind for a second corner.
And Rovers are obviously nervous now in these set-piece positions, having conceded the goal on Saturday. It must be a difficult time for them. They're thinking, we've got to hold tight. 4 players guarding Brad Friedel, Rovers players.
And everyone's back inside the Rovers box trying to defend this. Whipped in again by Davis. It's a deep one. Friedel comes. That's a really good take from the goalkeeper, and that will help his defence when he's prepared to come 12, 13 yards out of his goal. I think Gary Flitcroft has just gone down there. Someone has just done something to Gary Flitcroft off the ball, and Gary Flitcroft is down in a crumpled heap midway inside the Rovers half. And I wonder whether the referee has seen this one. In fact, it's Jonathan Stead. But Rovers are urging referee Mike Dean to take some action. I think it might be Zach Knight who's done it, but I wonder whether the linesman has seen this one. Jonathan Stead is still down, clutching his head. It's an off-the-ball incident, but Rovers players, all of them to a man immediately when it happened, went over and were appealing to the referee and linesman.
And the referee now goes over and has words with the assistant on this far side. And Rovers, with their arms up, Graham Souness pleads. And still, with the benefit of pictures here at Loftus Road, we are not able to see the incident, and I don't think the referee has seen it either.
Well, I wonder whether the referee will call someone over. Rovers still appealing on their bench that something has happened. The referee, I'm not sure, knows who it is. He's not going to do anything because the Rovers players are absolutely fuming. We haven't seen it. We have the benefit of not all grounds give us televisions, but we do have 3 big televisions in front of us here at Loftus Road. But they've not been able to obviously find a replay of it. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have seen it. But Rovers players were absolutely incensed by that. Whatever happened, they were fuming, absolutely fuming with the Fulham player.
And Lorenzo Amoruso saying it was a headbutt. Lorenzo Amoruso is saying it was a headbutt, and the referee and his 2 assistants appear to have seen nothing. Jonathan Stead will have to come off, and he looks across, and Lorenzo Amoruso still protests.
Well, Zach Knight is the accused. I wonder whether they'll see it on this. Oh, we've just got a television there. He just goes out of shot, but Zach Knight is the accused man. Jonathan Stead is on the sideline looking to see if some blood has been shed. Doesn't look as though it has. I'm sure he'll be allowed to come back on in a minute.
Well, Zach Knight's definitely the one everybody's pointing at. And right in the corner of frame, you see a little incident as Zach Knight and Jonathan Stead were retreating as Brad Friedel was about to release the ball, having collected so cleanly following that corner for Fulham. Well, there could be afters here.
Well, I was going to say that's the most important thing, that Rovers don't retaliate in this situation. Long ball forward towards Cole. Anderson heads it down. Cole on the right-hand side of the area looks for Flitcroft, who's wider right. He'll go backwards to Lucas Neal and then Neal towards Anderson, who flicks it on. Chased by Stead. Nothing. Well, late tackle there on Martin Anderson. Rovers have a free kick. The ball went through to Van der Sar, but Rovers will have a chance to send the big men forward. I think Lorenzo Amoruso in particular was incensed by that then. He obviously saw what happened. He was fuming and he immediately ran over. In fact, Craig Short was on the halfway line, and Craig Short is normally a very placid person. He was pointing an accusing finger at Zach Knight. Rovers have a free kick now. I wonder whether, well, Lorenzo Amoruso is lining up like he might try and shoot from here. It's
sort of 35 yards.
35 yards out on a diagonal to the goal. It's right hand side of centre. Amoruso will run up, takes a shot. It's a wicked shot. It's a yard or so over the bar. Decent attempt from there. It's behind for a Fulham goal kick.
Well, all credit to Lorenzo Amoruso from trying it from that distance, 35 yards. And I'll tell you something, another couple of yards away from goal. That one could well have dipped. I think Van der Sar probably had it covered, but you've got to say that was a decent enough attempt there from that sort of distance. And I just
Very confident young man is Lorenzo.
Absolutely confident. I cannot see that there will not be some sort of retribution for the Zach Knight alleged headbutt on Jonathan Stead.
Well, Rovers have to keep their calm, because the last thing they need is someone taking so-called revenge on the Fulham man and getting a red card for it. That would be absolutely criminal. Douglas for Rovers. It's still 0-0 here at Loftus Road. The ball drifts over Short's head and Malbronk's on the charge. Can't control it, and Short will get there for Rovers. He clears down the touchline, picked up by Sean Davis, tries to play it back towards the edge of the penalty area. It comes off Jonathan Douglas. It's out for a Fulham throw.
And I think one thing might happen today, and that's Rovers' two central defenders may well get caught for pace.
Well, the idea is that when you've got so many defensive midfielders in there, that they try and pick up the striker when he drops deep, and it allows the defenders to back off a little bit. Fulham looking to come forward on this right-hand side. A throw's been taken to Sean Davis. He rolls it in along the ground. Douglas gets a good foot in for Rovers, and then Tugai plays the ball up to halfway. Stead controls, tries to run at Zach Knight. Then he's taken by two men. Again, that's a foul. Surely that was from behind by one of them. The ball's gone out. Just a throw in for Rovers. Jonathan Stead, if he'd have been maybe a little bit more experienced, would have made more of that, which there was. Ball down the left-hand side, one for Cole to chase up against Zach Knight, and Zach Knight just puts the ball out for a Rovers throw. Graham Souness, still showing close-ups on the television, is fuming after that incident. Rovers looking to come forward on the left. Douglas tries to whip the ball in left-footed. It's too far ahead of the attackers. It's through to Edwin van der Sar. Long kick forward, one for Collins John. If he can win this header, it's a foul by Lorenzo Amoruso, although Fulham will be allowed to play on. It was Boa Morte in possession, in fact. Chip ball forward, it's over Collins John's head, and it will go through to Brad Friedel. Thrown out quickly, and the pace has certainly livened up the last couple of minutes since that incident with Stead and Knight. Rovers look to come forward, a ball towards Cole, it's over his head, and it's again through to the Fulham goalkeeper, and he in turn rolls it out quickly to Moritz Volz on this near side, on loan from Arsenal, laid down towards Malbronk, and Malbronk's eccentric little flick goes out for a Rovers throw.
Well, I think Rovers now need to realise that they can command this game in midfield. Now what they've got to try and do is create some chances in attack, because they've been severely limited. Andy Cole being drawn out to both left and right sides, playing on the wing. It's not where you want to see your top striker playing out in a wide position.
Rovers look to come forward, a long heaped clearance by Fulham. Amoruso gets a touch on that, and then Tugai finds Anderson. Anderson down this left-hand side, it hits Volz, that looked like handball. He'll play it down the line towards Malbronk. Good tackle by Gresco, and he comes away with the ball. Stands and then does a little Cruyff turn towards Anderson, who's chipped it forward towards Stead. Knight wins the header, flick cross there for Rovers, tries to find Cole. That's a good tackle from Jetu, and Jetu finds Volz. Volz then with a long clearance forward towards Boa Morte. It's over Lucas Neal's head, and he gets a touch, but it falls kindly for Boa Morte, advancing towards the corner of the penalty area. Turns onto his right foot and then goes back on his left inside the area, manages to get it across. Craig Short clears for Rovers up towards halfway, and Stead, expecting the defender is back, doesn't get there. He goes away from Zach Knight. Runs to the left-hand side and goes past Volz. He's still going, Jonathan Stead, trying to get towards the corner of the penalty area. Still going, he tries to get across it. It's a good ball towards Cole. One touch takes him away from goal. He tries to get it back into the area. Didn't get a good contact, and in the end it was comfortable for Van der Sar. But a wonderful run there from Jonathan Stead.
Well, it was an amazing run from Jonathan Stead. I thought Andy Cole did the wrong option by trying to come close for it. He came for the near post, and really what he wanted to do was allow the ball to run, to give him a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Wrong decision from Andy Cole, but a great run from Jonathan Stead.
Neal again with another poor clearance for Rovers, only finds Sean Davis, but then Amoruso steps in well on the edge of his own penalty area and finds Stead. Stead immediately looks for Tugai. It was just half a yard ahead of him, and the Turkish midfielder couldn't take it in his stride. It falls again for Fulham. Chip ball towards Collins John. He's offside. It's through to Brad Friedel.
Well, it really is end-to-end stuff here at Loftus Road. Rovers World and Rovers.co.uk. It's 0-0. Plenty of action, plenty of incident. The big talking point is an alleged elbow, an alleged, well, fist in the face. We're not quite sure. Zach Knight with Jonathan Stead, and certainly all the Rovers players seem to see it. Neither the referee nor his assistant seem to have seen anything, and the cameras were barely able to catch something right in the corner of frame. Certainly nothing conclusive.
I think this referee hasn't seen a lot as far as Rovers have been concerned this season. I didn't expect the decision when I saw Jonathan Stead go down, not after what he's not given Rovers this year, or given against Rovers, should I say. Malbronk, right-hand side, tries to cut in field. Well cut out by Jonathan Douglas, who's done a good job there. And then Tugai looks, it's a great ball towards Andy Cole, who's onside. Great chance for Rovers. Cole scores for Rovers! What a ball from Tugai! What a finish from Andy Cole! And what a priceless goal that could be. Halfway through the opening 45 minutes at Loftus Road, it's Fulham 0, Rovers 1. Andy Cole with his 10th goal of the season.
Well, that was just magic from Rovers. It was Jonathan Douglas who won the ball in midfield, and a great pass from Tugai. It absolutely split the defence. Andy Cole beat the goalkeeper with a one-touch and rifled the ball into the back of the net. He doesn't like easy goals. He loves the ones that he has to make, hit the back of the net and burst the back of the net and work hard for, beating Van der Sar at his near post. It's Rovers 1, Fulham 0.
Well, that is absolute quality. The ball from Tugai is arguably the ball of the season as far as I'm concerned. And Andy Cole's finish from a tight angle on the right-hand side, one touch on the chest, and then he rifled it past Van der Sar. So important for Rovers. Jetu will now shoot from distance. It goes behind for a Rovers goal kick. But Andy Cole, noticeably without those blue boots tonight, he's got a silver pair of boots on, has scored an absolutely wonderful goal for Rovers, and that is so important after the results today. I know it's still early stages in this match, but they lead at Loftus Road by 1-0.
And that ball from Tugai was just absolutely sublime. It was with the outside of the boot. He was on the halfway line. Andy Cole was able to pick it up on the edge of the box. Beat, well, there was hardly any Fulham defence to beat. It was really just Van der Sar he had to beat. And when he shot to the near post, I don't think Van der Sar would have saved that had he caught it with both hands.
Well, I think if he'd got both hands to it, it would have taken his hands off. It was going that quickly. Fulham look to come forward and get a quick response. Bournemouth on the far side tries to cut inside Lucas Neal. The free kick's gone against Lucas Neal, and it will be Fulham a chance to put the ball into the Rovers area. I remember last year Bournemouth gave Lucas Neal a rough time, and Lucas was booked inside the first half, finally taken off and replaced in the second. But you know, Bournemouth hasn't really sparkled early on in this match. Amaruso just trying to get the defence lined up inside the box, telling everyone to move out. A whip ball in, left-footed. Gresco heads it high up in the air for Rovers, just to where the ball had come from. Cole gets a touch on that one, picked up by Legwinski. And then Davis on the far side, tackled by a couple of Rovers players. Falls for Legwinski. Can he keep it in? He does do, just about. Rovers players are appealing, that went out. Tugai is beaten by Bournemouth. Rovers still fuming that they haven't got a throw on the far side. Instead, it will be a Fulham free kick and a chance for them to put the ball inside the area. So Fulham free kick, Davis will take it, whipped him right-footed, it's all in the middle, chance off the crossbar, it's not gone in, still around, Fulham have equalised, and you can't even tell who the scorer is. Is it Collins John? Is it Martin Jetu? However, it's gone in, and Rovers' lead has lasted barely 4 minutes. A free kick caused confusion, their first header hit the crossbar, it was then headed back across the face of goal, and then scrambled in at the back post. Fulham have equalised at Loftus Road, and it's Rovers 1, Fulham 1.
Oh, that's a disaster for Rovers. A free kick which shouldn't have been given. Tugai went in rather rashly over on the near side, and from the resulting free kick, Fulham have now pulled this game back, and all the hard work done by Tugai with his great outside of the boot pass to Andy Cole has been undone within 5 minutes as Fulham equalise, and really that's not what Fulham deserve. Rovers have been the better team, they've worked harder, and Fulham have pulled their way back into this game.
I think the goal has been given to Lewis Bournemouth, and again he tries a run at Lucas Neal. He goes past Lucas Neal. Has he brought him down? No, he hasn't. He's conceded a corner. And it really is pressure building on Rovers, and the annoying thing is it was from a set piece, and a set piece that maybe shouldn't even have been given, depending on whether the ball actually crossed the line, and Rovers should have had a throw.
Well, that's why Tugai, he was arguing with the referee, and he committed one of those Harry-Carry fouls that wasn't necessary. There were 3 Rovers players around the ball.
Corner taken again, it's inside the area. Amaruso heads this one away. Jetu picks it up and finds Malbronc. Will it fall for Jetu again? Tugai can't get there. Davis left hand side of the area, tries a curler. It's high behind for a Rovers goal kick.
Oh dear, Rovers have not got to go to pieces in the next few minutes. They've got the upper hand in this game. They've seen it slip away. The one thing that cannot happen is Rovers drift further behind. They've got to reassert their superiority in this game, a superiority that's seen them through the large part of this first half, and then the sucker punch from Fulham for a set piece. Oh, I'd love to see that decision about whether it was a ball out for a throw-in for Rovers on the far side.
Flitcroft heads it down towards Tugai. Bocanegra's there. Who's that one? We're showing. Still don't know who scored the goal. It looks as though it might be Bocanegra, not Boa Morte, who scored that, and that's his first goal for Fulham. Rovers back in possession now, trying to reassert themselves in this game and trying to regain the lead. More importantly, it lasted for only a couple of minutes, which is a disappointing thing. Gresco ball in, Cole's been given offside. It will be a Fulham free kick.
It's funny how these officials always seem to spot the easy ones, isn't it, really? Decision on Saturday should have been a penalty. None of the officials saw anything wrong. Ball offside there, or ball out of play, should I say. Was it, wasn't it? Not easy for us to tell, but certainly the officials didn't see that. But then when it comes to offside decisions, they're very, very keen.
Short heads it away for Rovers. Tugai then beats Jetu in the air. Cole, was he fouled? Nothing given. Bocanegra, the Fulham goal scorer, plays it forward. Amaruso wins the header, and then as Fulham look to break again, a foul's given against Jonathan Douglas for apparently obstructing Sean Davis. And just at the moment, Rovers a little bit on the ropes.
Well, I think the referee decided to give that for a challenge by Lorenzo Amaruso, and when he saw that the ball had broken to Fulham, decided to play on. When they didn't get the advantage, he decided to blow up.
Davis whips the free kick in. Amaruso heads it away. Picked up on the, or won't be picked up on the Fulham right hand side. It will drift out for a throw. Davis will take, the man who took the free kick from which Fulham equalised. He'll leave it then for Volz on this near side. Former Schalke player in Germany, joined Arsenal, never really made the grade there, and now he's trying to do it at Fulham. Crossed in, headed away by Amaruso. Gresco puts it further away, and then Tugai just pumps the ball deep inside the Fulham half. Zach Knight will lay it back towards Edwin van der Sar. Goma, though, is there. And Fulham just in a little bit of trouble at the back at the moment. They're playing nice, pretty football between the goalkeeper and defenders, but Van der Sar finally has to clear with his wrong foot, his left foot towards Boa Morte. Neil wins the header and Anderson puts it back. Cole was offside. He touched it when really he should have let it go, because Jonathan Stead would have been clean through, and really Andy Cole should have shown a little bit more experience there than he did. Fulham looking to come forward. Malbronc goes past Anderson, who fouls him, and again Fulham have another free kick inside Rovers territory.
It's a very stop-start game, this. The referee has certainly lubricated the pea in his whistle this evening. Barely a few minutes go by without the referee blowing for some infringement, and once again Fulham have got the benefit of doubt.
Davis takes the free kick to the back post, headed away by Flitcroft, who was fouled, and it will be a Rovers free kick.
Well, this time it goes the other way.
I'm going to say that the one danger player for Fulham has definitely been Steed Malbronc. He's won so many free kicks. Every time he gets the ball, he's able to go past a Rovers player. Neil flicks it forward for Rovers. It's a poor ball straight through to the Fulham defender, Alan Goma. Lays it to the left-hand side to Bocanegra. Sean Davis comes deep. He's faced by Tugai. They then work the ball forward towards Boa Morte. This one goes straight out, and it's a Rovers throw.
So what do Rovers do now? They've got the upper hand in this game. They've seen it taken away from them. Fulham 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Changes?
I think so. Well, not at this stage in the match, obviously, but I think it's been all right so far. The one worrying thing is that going forward they have no width, and they don't really test Fulham. They haven't really tested Fulham. They're giving away a lot of free kicks inside their own half, but they've not really pressurised the home defence. Stead does well for Rovers, chests the ball down. Again, he wants a free kick. Again, nothing given. Gresko having to do a bit of defending. He plays it high over his head. Volts misses the bounce, and then two guys should pick this one up for Rovers. Advancing down the left-hand touchline, flicks it off the German defender. It's out for a Rovers throw.
Well, the one thing you can say about Tugai is when he's in a situation like that, his control of the ball is absolutely brilliant. He can stop the ball exactly where he wants to stop it, and he did there. And you saw when his pass went through for Andy Cole to score that he can deliver an absolutely killer pass. I think the biggest problem is he just doesn't seem to do enough of it for me. He doesn't seem to turn his hand to keep looking up and delivering that defence-splitting ball.
Well, this would be my argument for playing Tugai further forward every match, because he can produce a ball like that. Tugai comes across to challenge Malbronk, who nutmegs him and finds Legwinski. Davis is on the edge of the centre circle for Fulham. Ball forward towards Boa Morte, who controls first time, and then Amoruso gets a foot in. Flitcroft on the far side, it comes off. Well, I thought it had come off a Fulham attacker there, nothing given, and they will take the throw quickly, Fulham. Davis again on the ball, looks towards the centre where Collins John is. Gresko gets a foot on that one. Craig Short heads it down towards Jonathan Douglas, who left-footed tries to play the ball forward. It comes off the outside of his foot and goes out for a Fulham throw.
Not done too badly, Jonathan Douglas.
He's had a solid game, which is what you wanted of him, or what you expected of him.
Combative midfielder.
Fulham take the throw, Volts down to Malbronk, and then Volts tries to go past Anderson and does do so. He lays it in field towards Malbronk. Now he's on the edge of the area. Left-footed shot, good save by Friedel. He tried to bamboozle the Rovers defender with a step over. He worked it onto his left foot and then drilled it low towards Brad Friedel's left-hand post. The big American got a touch on that one and put it behind for a Fulham corner.
Good save, but he had loads and loads of space. The defence seemed to open up there for him, and I saw Vratislav Gresko screaming that he was given too much space.
Corner was just about to be taken when the referee has blown to have a word with maybe defender, attacker for standing in front of Brad Friedel to stop the Rovers goalkeeper being able to come for any cross. Friedel just appealing to referee Mike Dean, saying that the attacker is only intent on blocking his run. The ball comes in, headed, Friedel saves, two-handed, and Jonathan Stead completes the clearance. Another good save from the Rovers shot stopper, and again, where was the marking from a set piece? Davis lays it down the right-hand touchline. He'll give chase himself. Gresko's there for Rovers and has to play it out. It's come off Sean Davis, and it will be a Rovers throw.
Well, interestingly, in that little run a few moments ago, it was Sean Davis who was dragging Vratislav Gresko out to the right-hand side of the penalty box. And that's what Vratislav Gresko was complaining about. He needed to track Davis, and nobody else was filling in the midfield position in the centre of the box and allowing so much space.
It was a header from Zat Knight that Brad Friedel palmed away with both hands, and it really was another good save from the reliable goalkeeper. Fulham playing around with the ball inside their own half. Douglas has fouled Jetu, and it will be another Fulham free kick. Taken quickly by Legwinski, a ball over the top towards Collins John. Amoruso should get the header, short inside the area, does well eventually to chest the ball down. Douglas will complete the clearance, and it's just one that's pumped over the top. Goma just gets a touch on that one, then he'll head it back towards Van der Sar. He was lucky because he had to get that touch, otherwise Jonathan Stead was in.
Good defending from Goma there, made exactly the right decision, controlled the ball, headed it back to keeper. Jonathan Stead ready to pounce on any mistake there in the Fulham defence, but it was a quick ball out, and I do get the impression that Jonathan Stead might have the beating of this defence.
Well, Andy Cole's already scored one. Fulham equalised just a couple of moments later. Fulham 1, Rovers 1. 35 minutes gone at Loftus Road. Davis comes forward for Fulham, he plays it past Craig Short, and it will go behind for a Rovers goal kick. It's been well, I wouldn't say a fairly even match. I think Fulham have maybe just been on top, but the Rovers deserve to be level. They scored such a good goal.
Terrific goal from Andy Cole. I don't think we've had the voting for goal of the season yet, have we?
Well, maybe not. It was a wonderful ball from Tugay. It really does owe absolutely everything to the Turkish midfielder. That's the disappointing thing. Rovers score a really good goal at one end, and then a couple of minutes later concede a scrappy one from a dead ball situation inside their own box. Cole heads it on. Jetu will get there for the home side, and then Zach Knight goes back to Van der Sar. Under pressure from Stead, he kicks long. Stead was sliding in, and Van der Sar had to clear left-footed. Neil misses the header. Amoruso pushes Collins John in the back, and it will be a Fulham free kick.
Well, that ball seemed to bounce very uncomfortably and beat both Lucas Neal and Lorenzo Amoruso. And Lorenzo Amoruso is going to have to be very, very careful, because he's resorting to niggly little challenges when he loses the ball. And I think pace-wise, he's got to make sure that he stops them in midfield, because otherwise they will be past and on goal.
Bocanegra finds Jetu, and then Jetu Malbronc back to Bocanegra. It's come off Lucas Neal. It's behind for a Fulham corner. And Lucas Neal, if anybody, has looked to be the one struggling with this formation. He just doesn't quite know what to do in that right full-back role.
Certainly doesn't know when to go forward, and Rovers are lacking in that wide right, wide left position. It's a position we've seen Brett Emerton occupy for so long. Graham Souness deciding to play it very much down the middle today, in more ways than one.
Davis for Fulham whips the corner into the back post. Zach Knight's there, cleared off the line by Friedel, and then Amoruso puts it high in the air. Two-guy heads it on, still inside the Rovers box, eventually cleared by Craig Short. Yet again, the Fulham defender Zach Knight able to get a clean header from a set piece, and Brad Friedel yet again having to make an important save on his line.
Well, he scooped that one out, Brad Friedel. Two-handed scoop, didn't look comfortable at all with that ball, and the biggest danger is, having seen a ball ricochet off the bar for Fulham's opening goal, that they're there to pick all the seconds whenever there's a situation in the penalty box where Brad Friedel doesn't take complete control. That's dangerous.
Friedel kicks long now for Rovers towards Jonathan Stead, who yet again this evening has had very little to feed on. Cole rises on the edge of the Fulham box, doesn't win the header. Volt should clear, it's out to their right-hand side. Gresco with a wonderful first touch, and then Two-guy gives it back to him. Will it fall for Gresco? Great whip ball in across to the back post. Stead went down under the challenge. Nothing was given. It's going to drift away for a Fulham goal kick.
A lovely 1-2 there from Two-guy and Bratislav Gresco. Gresco controlled the ball well, played it off, laid it off to Two-guy, who immediately managed to feed Gresco. And this is what I said about Bratislav Gresco playing in a wide position. He is able to deliver crosses. It was dangerous, that, and very interestingly, Jonathan Stead looked as if he'd been impeded in the goal area. Didn't see the incident myself, but he certainly complained, and he went to ground.
It's a goal kick taken by Van der Sar. Short wins the header for Rovers. Cole challenges on halfway. It'll drop on the Rovers left-hand side. Gresco will clear forward towards Stead. Again, he looked as though he'd been fouled. Again, he holds his head. Again, nothing's given for Rovers. Anderson, who's been quiet in this match, finds Lucas Neal, who cuts in field and then lays it back to Amoruso on halfway. A first-time ball which clears the head forward towards Cole. Can he get there? It's missed by Van der Sar. In the end, I think Andy Cole was just offside. Andy Cole appeals to referee and linesman. Fulham escaped there, but it was, well, an interesting ball from Amoruso. Jonathan Douglas just flicked it on, and Andy Cole was just a yard offside.
Was an interesting ball there. Very, very quick move from Rovers. A flick on from Jonathan Douglas that was almost as inch perfect as Two-guy's pass, and Andy Cole advancing on the keeper. I think the keeper might have got a hand to it had Andy Cole not been blown offside, but Jonathan Stead was ready for afters there, ready to pounce. Rovers at least showing the signs of having the ability to go and create chances in the Fulham box.
Foles goes all the way back to Van der Sar, who's already been beaten once in this first half, midway through the first half, by Andy Cole, his 10th of the season. Fulham equalised just a couple of moments later, and the goal was initially credited to the American fullback Carlos Bocanegra. It's now gone to Collins John. It's his third goal in just 3 appearances for Fulham. Two-guy in possession for Rovers. On the left-hand side, midway inside the Fulham half, Cole lays it down towards Stead. Can Stead dance past the Fulham defender? He can't. Again, there's been another offside given against Andy Cole, and Andy Cole, with a little shake of the head, again didn't agree with that decision.
I'd like to see that one again. Seemed to be a lovely piece of work from Andy Cole, and laying a ball off to Jonathan Stead. Always difficult when you're sitting just to one side of the halfway line. You can't see these decisions as the referee's assistant can see them, but didn't look to be in an offside position to me.
Anderson on the edge of his own area, plays around with the ball and nearly gets caught. Eventually it was played through by Legwinski. Unfortunately, it was too far ahead of Malbronc, and Brad Friedel could collect, but he's maybe been the one player in the midfield that hasn't done himself justice today. Martin Anderson, he's been very, very quiet. Long ball by Friedel, header won then by Douglas, it's headed up in the air by Volz. Stead should get there for Rovers, control beats him, and then Davis picks it up, spreads it to the left hand side and opens play up when it's been very, very congested for long periods of this first half. Bocanegra looking for options, goes in field towards Jetu, just a hopeful ball forward, cut out by Anderson, and then a loose pass by Tugai, and Fulham can break. Malbronk looking for options, and it's 5-on-4. Malbronk shoots. It's a good 2 or 3 yards wide, and that was an escape for Rovers, because Fulham was swarming all over the Rovers back forward, who were just stranded after one loose pass.
3-on-2 there for, 4-on-3 for Fulham there, and Steve Malbronk took what was definitely the wrong option to decide to shoot from 30 odd yards. Shot well wide as it was. Brad Friedel had the goal covered, but had he sprayed the ball wide, Rovers could have been in serious trouble there because they were split.
Flitcroft heads on, it comes off Bocanegra for a Rovers throw on their right hand side, midway inside the Fulham half. 3 minutes left to half time plus injury time. 1-1 it is at Loftus Road. Stead flicks the ball on, he wanted handball against Bocanegra, he now heads it back down towards Flitcroft, who's almost had to play as a right midfielder inside this first half. Neil plays it off Legwinski, it's out for another Rovers throw.
Situations like that where you really realise you don't have any wide men when Gary Flitcroft is the furthest player forward. Rovers have a corner as a result of Gary Flitcroft winning a ball on the wide right.
It was just a throw down the right hand side, and Jetu got there above Gary Flitcroft and had to flick it behind. It's a Rovers corner now with Emerton out the side and Stephen Reid out the side. Gresco not taking this one. Rovers are able to put plenty of men forward because Fulham have gone for everyone back in their own box. Tugai will take this corner. Short's forward, Amoruso's forward. Amoruso already scored a couple of goals this season from set pieces. Tugai whips it into the middle. Short with a header, he heads it down. It bounces into the ground and up over the crossbar, and the way Craig Short got to that ball, that was a real chance.
I think Craig Short will be fuming that he didn't have a better connection there. He came over the top of the Fulham player, but he needed a better connection. He headed it with too much purchase going down, and that just needed to bounce either a little bit closer to goal and it would have beaten Van der Sar, or not at all and it would have beaten Van der Sar. As it is, it bounced way over the bar, and Rovers, with their first corner of the game, at least create an opportunity.
Well, Short scored his first goal of the season, of course, on Saturday, a very, very late consolation goal against Leeds United, and in doing so became the 17th person to have scored a goal for Rovers this season. And of course that list includes goalkeeper Brad Friedel. Ball forward towards Collins John on the edge of the penalty area. Again Anderson slow, and again he's caught. Fulham pick the ball up through Boa Morte, chip through the middle towards Sean Davis. Gresco's there, and Gresco's had a good first half. Douglas clears for Rovers up towards halfway. Cole controls and lays it back in field towards Tugai. Anderson makes a run. Can Stead get there? He can't. He holds off the defender, and Anderson tries to flick it past one man. Picked up by Volz. Referee will stop play, I think. Alan Gomer has gone down after the challenge from Jonathan Stead, and he will receive a little bit of attention. But Martin Anderson again was just too soft in that challenge.
A little bit too slow for me. Little bit too slow. Good move again from Tugai. Jonathan Douglas involved as well. But I thought Martin Anderson was just half a yard too slow. Rovers could have had a decent break there.
And Alan Gomer has received a cut to the face. It looks to be around the right eye, just above the right eye. There's blood coming from that at the moment. I wonder how he's got that little injury. It might well have been a stray arm from Jonathan Stead. It doesn't look to be anything sinister. He's just clipped him. There's certainly nothing intentional there. He will have to leave the pitch, and I wonder whether that will be stitches or whether he'll be able to just bandage that one up and come back on. There's not much time left inside this first half. We are approaching the 45-minute mark. There'll be 10 seconds left very, very shortly, and then we'll have just injury time at the end of this first period. Should imagine there'll be a couple of minutes after the Jonathan Stead incident earlier on.
I would imagine 3 maybe. Referee will decide on a drop ball, and he'll suggest to Vratislav Gresco, it's 2 by the way. He'll suggest to Vratislav Gresco that a ball back to Edwin van der Sar might be the decent, honest thing to do, and that's exactly what happens.
I'd have shot. We'll give up on decent and honest now. If he's outside his area, let's go for it.
It was a shot.
Well, it was wide anyway.
Safely saved.
Yeah. Van der Sar now on the edge of his own penalty area, just drops the ball. Fulham at the moment having to play with 10 men because Gomar is still on the side of the pitch. Jetu has dropped back to centre half. Ball down the right hand side towards Malbronk, who flicks it past Douglas, and then Gresco tries to get a challenge in. He's been adjudged to have fouled Collins John. It will be a Fulham free kick, and again I think the referee gave them a decision there that was very, very soft.
honest as the day is long, Vratislav Gresko, isn't he?
He is. He's perhaps too nice. Very, very serious, but he's a very, very nice young man. Fulham waiting to take the free kick. Sean Davis will put it into the Rovers penalty area. They've got a few men forward, including Zach Knight, and Zach Knight wins the header. Martin Anderson will clear for Rovers. It finds Andy Cole, although I don't think he quite meant to do so. Cole looking for Tugai, doesn't find him, and Boa Morte skips past Tugai and Anderson, and then he goes past one tackle too many, which might have been Gresko. He goes to ground and gets yet another free kick for Fulham.
I think it was Anderson there who caught him. Seemed to catch his heels. Well, both of them had a bit of a bite there, didn't they?
Well, take your pick, 2 or 3. This is dangerous for Rovers, only 30 seconds from the end of this first half. 1-1 it stands at the moment, but Fulham have a free kick. It's level with the right-hand edge of the Rovers penalty area. Whipped in, the chances there, it's gone in! And Rovers, right on the stroke of half-time, have fallen behind, and it looks to be a second goal for Collins John. And what a punishment at the end of the first half. Slack defending from Rovers from the set piece. It was allowed to go all the way along the edge of the 6-yard box. Gresko turned his back on the marker, and just the faintest of touch found the inside of Brad Friedel's goal, and right on the stroke of half-time. It's Fulham 2, Rovers 1.
Oh, that was so easy for Fulham. They advanced in mass just as the free kick was being taken, and they left Rovers standing. They just simply left the Rovers defence standing. I think it could have been 1 of 4 or 5 who scored that goal. It is half-time. It is a disappointment. It's Fulham 2, Blackburn Rovers 1.
And that is right on the stroke of half-time. The referee allowed Rovers to kick off, then blew his whistle. So a real nightmare end to this first half at Loftus Road for Rovers, after, of course, they had taken the lead halfway through the first half. Andy Cole scored after a wonderful ball from Tugai. The lead lasted barely a couple of minutes. Collins John equalising after a scramble inside the Rovers area. Then right on the stroke of half-time, a free kick whipped in from the corner of the penalty area. Collins John just got the faintest of touches on it, found its way into the back of the Rovers goal, and Rovers now find themselves trailing at half-time at Loftus Road. It's Fulham 2, Rovers 1. I'm amazed that Brett Emerton hasn't come on to give Rovers a little bit of width, because Gary Flitcroft is having to come wide right at the moment, and it's just not working for him. Simple as that. Gary Flitcroft is a central midfielder, not a right midfielder. Brett Emerton will supply some natural width. Martin Anderson, I'm afraid, in this match, and not just this match, has offered very, very little for Rovers.
Well, I wonder if the referee has had the benefit of action replays in his dressing room at half-time. I wonder if the referee has seen the tug on Vratislav Gresko that led to Fulham's first goal. I wonder if he's seen the incident in midfield which led to Jonathan Stead being poleaxed on the floor. Oh, referee, I hope you have. I hope you're able to realise the error of your ways there. I can't see it happening, though.
We're underway in the second half at Loftus Road. Rovers will kick towards their fans in this second period, hoping to try and turn this game on its head and try and get at least a point, if not all three, from Loftus Road against Fulham. Two-guy robbed of the ball. We'll run down the two teams in a short while. Rovers, of course, in their away strip, the gold tops, black shorts, and then the gold and black hooped socks. Fulham in their home kit, the white shirts with a black stripe down the left arm, and the black shorts, white socks. Neil on the ball for Rovers, finds Anderson, looking for Neil to make a return run, and Neil does, but it's a poor pass and it's cut out by Bocanegra, and now Bocanegra can come forward. His touch is a poor one, and that goes out for a Rovers throw.
It was a poor ball there, woeful ball back to Lucas Neil. Don't think he could be blamed. Just went right in the path of two Fulham players, and the Rovers have really got to tighten up on those situations.
Two-guy picks the ball up for Rovers, dances past one tackle, he's then taken down by Jetu, and it will be a Rovers free kick, and it's right of centre, 10 yards right of centre, about 10 yards outside the edge of the penalty area, and I wonder whether Vratislav Gresko will march over and have a shot with this one. Amaruso tried one in the first half, was a yard or so over. It does favour a left footer more than it does a right footer.
Well, Amaruso immediately went over to the ball and said, no, leave it to me. Vratislav Gresko is standing over with two-guy as well. It's about 30 yards. And it really is on for Vrati here.
Well, it certainly favours a left footer. I think Lorenzo Amaruso might try and pull rank and say, I tried one in the first half, let me hit this one. The way Lorenzo has walked backwards, it does look as though it will be him. He'll take a 4 or 5 pace run up. It's Stead left for Gresko, who shoots. Great save by Van der Sar, and he parries it away, and it will be out on the Rovers right hand side, right next to the corner flag for a throw-in. Great strike from Gresko and an equally good save from Van der Sar.
Oh, this is the difference, isn't it, with Rovers? Had it been a free kick against Rovers, that would have been a nestling in the back of the net, and as it happens, Fulham have managed to...
The ball's flicked in, Douglas equalises, headed on by Gary Flitcroft, and what a time to score your first ever senior goal for the club. Flitcroft from the long throw headed it on. Jonathan Douglas arrived late, and it was a superb volley. He smashed it into the back of the net. The first senior goal for Rovers for the young Irishman, and already at the start of this second half, 2.5 minutes in, Rovers are level. It's Fulham 2, Rovers 2.
Oh, well, Jonathan Douglas has had a couple of chances when he's played earlier in the season, and he's really missed connecting. This time, he's made up for every single missed attempt, because when he connected with that ball, it was waist high, and it was going nowhere else apart from the back of the net. Great goal, great flick on. Jonathan Douglas has made it Rovers 2, Fulham 2.
Just what Rovers needed as well. They fell behind right on the stroke of half-time, and right at the start of the second half, they've got themselves level. Flitcroft heads the ball infield, picked up by Sean Davis. Two-guy comes across and harries two Fulham men. Can't get there. Davis just about there, and then Flitcroft with a great tackle. Stead tries to turn away from one man, turn away from a second. The ball runs through. Cole will give chase, and it will be another Rovers long throw, exactly where they just scored from.
Oh, this is Rovers now with all the pressure, and the London branch of the Rovers Supporters Club turned out to...
Goal header in back post. It's not gone in. I can't believe that ball hasn't gone in. Right on the goal line, 2 or 3 men piled in, and somehow it didn't find the back of the net, and now maybe Fulham can break. Collins John looking to come forward. Straight race against Amaruso. Good foot in from Amaruso, and he should clear for Rovers. Still inside the Rovers half, Anderson will pick up. How has that ball not been forced over the line? Flitcroft for Rovers, looks to the left-hand side, and he finds Two-guy. Oh my word. Two-guy skips inside one man and then chips the ball forward towards Stead. Stead heads it down to this right-hand side. Flitcroft with a crunching tackle. It was a wonderful tackle. He gets another foot on the ball. Cole will pick it up. He tries to chip it past Alan Goma. That's a handball, and it's a Rovers free kick.
And the referee once again doesn't produce a card. Deliberate handball there from Goma. And Rovers in a position here where once again they can go on goal with a free kick 35 yards out. Just to the right of the D. And once again Gresco and Amoruso line up. Same routine, two guys standing over the ball. And Graham Souness is once again just inquiring of the fourth official whether the run of play is going in Rovers' favour.
Well, I have to say, Gary Flitcroft has put in two absolutely barnstorming tackles at the start of this second half that have set the tempo for Rovers, and they are all over Fulham at the moment. So this free kick, it's more central than the last one. It's perhaps a little bit further out, 15 yards outside the box, 10, 15 yards. Really, either of them could hit it. It's for Amoruso this time. He shoots! It's in! Amoruso has scored for Rovers, and he's turned this game around. An unbelievable start to the second half for Rovers. Fully 35 yards out, he's hit the ball. It's swerved, it's dipped, it's dived, it's beaten Van der Sar. And inside 5 minutes at the start of the second half, it's Rovers 3, Fulham 2.
What I can tell you now, I think that free kick was a bit of a mistake, because at one stage it looked as if Gresco was going for it. Two guys slipped the ball. Amoruso took up the challenge. He shot. Van der Sar could only palm it into the back of the net. And Rovers, in the space of a couple of minutes, have pulled themselves back into this game. It's now Fulham 2, Blackburn Rovers 3. And Amoruso has scored an all-important goal for the guys in orange and black.
That's his third of the season. He scored two very, very early on, and I know some people question whether it was right to bring him back at the weekend. If that turns out to be the winning goal, then Graham Souness has to be applauded for keeping faith with his summer signing. Fulham look to come forward. Again, Amoruso's there. He thought he was fouled, nothing given. It's out for a Fulham throw, midway inside the Rovers half on the Fulham left.
Well, all I can say is the rest have done Amoruso great, because he wasn't playing like this when he started the season.
Now Rovers have the advantage for the second time in this match. Fulham look to come forward. It's inside the Rovers area. Boa Morte goes down under a couple of challenges. Amoruso will clear for Rovers. It's over Cole's head. Stead heads it down towards Cole, and then Jetu gets a touch in. Back to Zach Knight. Knight looking to the left-hand side towards Davis, who heads it on. Boa Morte is offside, and that one, well, Lucas Neal might decide to clear it. He will let it go behind for a Rovers goal kick. Well, what a thrilling start to this second half.
Let's just analyse that free kick, shall we? Two guy laid it off. I thought that first of all he was laying it off for Gresco to do exactly the same as we'd seen a few minutes beforehand. Gresco striking it hard. Instead, Amoruso seemed to pause before Gresco could get to the ball.
Well, Amoruso hit it, caught Van der Sar by surprise, and he couldn't stop it going into the net. I remember a while ago a Rangers fan said, never ever let Lorenzo take those free kicks. They always hit the top of the tier behind the goal. Well, this one certainly hasn't. It's hit the back of the net, and Rovers find themselves leading by 3-2. It took them 5.5 minutes to score 2 goals at the start of this second half. They were trailing 2-1 at half time, and now the question is, can Rovers hold firm? Amoruso, high foot, it's come off Boa Morte's arm, and it will be a Rovers free kick.
Well, the referee now seems to be favouring in his decisions the away side. The away side, of course, are Rovers. It's Loftus Road, it's Rovers World and rovers.co.uk. It's a match which has turned on its heels. It's Fulham 2, Blackburn Rovers 3.
And the Rovers fans, must be over 1,000 of them in the bottom tier behind Edwin van der Sar's goal, have been absolutely superb since they came out at the start of this second half. They must be on cloud 9. They probably can't believe, like the rest of us, the way this game has turned around.
Well, I was saying just when the second of Rovers goals was scored, the London branch of the Rovers Supporters Club have turned out in force. Well done to them tonight.
Ball bouncing around midway inside the Fulham half. Douglas wins the header. Cole's then beaten by Zach Knight, headed back by Anderson. Jetu, it goes over the top of his head. Can Cole get there? Was that a handball inside the area? Nothing given. It looked as though Bocanegra just palmed that back down to Van der Sar. Fulham clear upfield though, and Collins John tries to keep the ball in. Gresco does well for Rovers, and then Douglas, the scorer of Rovers' second goal, tidies up and finds Craig Short. In turn finds Amoruso, and no nonsense defending, just a ball over the top. One for Cole to chase. Goma lets it bounce. Two guy in the air, wins that one. Falls for Stead, who shoots! Van der Sar low down to his right hand side collects that one. But Rovers are on fire in the second period.
And I tell you something, two guy playing in this role just behind the front two. He's coming into his own in the second half. It's not often you see two guy going up for a challenge and winning a header, or at least causing a header to fall Rovers' way. But when the ball fell there for first of all Douglas and then Stead, you thought that there was a golden opportunity for Rovers there to increase their lead.
Collins John is offside and Rovers will have a free kick. And apart from the goal, I have to say, I think Lorenzo Amoruso, in not just tonight's game but also against Leeds, showed what he has been capable of, or what he is capable of. I know there were doubts when he first came to the club. He was suffering with injury, he wasn't playing at his best. If his performances are anything like this last game and a half and a bit in the second half here at Loftus Road, then he will be a wonderful buy and a wonderful asset between now and the end of the season.
And I hope so, for Graham Souness's sake. He plays with Latin temperament, he has the Latin look about him, he's got a swagger, he's got a sway, he's got an attitude, but I tell you something, he's also got a powerful right foot.
Throw into Fulham, and now maybe things will just calm down. Rovers will hope they calm down anyway. Just coming up to the 10-minute mark in this second half. Rovers now lead by 3-2. Flitcroft on the right-hand side plays the ball in. It's a high one towards Stead. Bounces over Stead. Two guys at the back post. Will it fall for Stead? Inside the area, shoots. It's blocked. Cole tries to bring it down. Half cleared by Jetu, and then on this left-hand side, Legwinski. Faced by Flitcroft. He goes in field to Jetu. Cole is battling back, and Jetu has to turn around and go back to Bocanegra.
Well, Rovers are running wild for every single ball. Nothing they are prepared to let escape them.
Handball there against Tugay. I don't think it was deliberate, just as Jetu tried to flick the ball past him. Hit the former Turkish international's arm, and a free kick was given. On the far side, Volts tries to come forward. On the Fulham right-hand side, lays it back to Sean Davis, who strides forward. Stead comes back to help out defensively. He lays it back to the right-hand side. Volts hadn't made the run, and it's out for a Rovers throw.
No complaints about Vratislav Gresko's performance. I think the first goal was one where he was tugged. The second goal, he maybe could have got to the ball, but otherwise his play has been really quite complimentary to the way Rovers have played as a team today.
Well, the second half, they just have stepped up a gear, Rovers. In the first half, they were combative, they scored a good goal, but from set pieces, they looked a bit nervous. In this second 45 minutes, I know we're only 12 minutes into it, but they certainly have battled away, and they've got 2 goals, which has given them a 3-2 lead in this match. And the question now is, can they hold on to this lead? Tugay whips the ball central towards Stead. Bocanegra misses that one, and then does he foul Jonathan Stead? Jetu with a good challenge wins the ball back, and then Bocanegra on the edge of his own penalty area hits the ball against the back of Gary Flitcroft, and Stead gets there for Rovers. Stead looking for a runner, lays it down the right-hand side, one for Flitcroft to chase. He will get there, he lays it, comes off it doesn't come off a Fulham defender, it goes behind for a goal kick.
Nice work there from Jonathan Stead and Gary Flitcroft. Just ran out of legs, didn't he, Flitty? As you might expect from somebody who is the elder statesman of the Rovers team, one of them anyway. He's run himself silly tonight.
Asad Tugay, who's had another one of those games that don't come out of the blue, but they've been far too few and far between for Rovers this season, and Tugay's having a really good evening, should I say. Legwinski chips the ball down the Fulham left-hand touchline. Neil will get there for Rovers, faced by Boamorte. It comes off Boamorte, and it's out for a Rovers throw.
And the thing about Rovers and the way they are playing, they all look like they really, really desperately want to be playing Premiership football next year, and it's something that we've talked about with Rovers, that they have maybe had a couple of half-hearted games recently. Liverpool was a poor performance, Portsmouth was a poor performance, Leeds was much better, but the result, of course, didn't go our way. Tonight, I don't think there's a single player out there who isn't prepared to give everything for the cause.
Well, there's certainly no lack of effort from Graham Souness's side. Zat Knight gets a touch on Brad Friedel's kick. It goes to the Rovers left to Gresko, who clears up again towards Stead. He gets a touch on that one. He looked as though he was being fouled. Nothing given, and Jetu finds Bocanegra. Again, he chips it down the left-hand side. One for Boamorte to chase. Neil puts it high up in the air. Flitcroft will challenge. He wins the header. It falls for Fulham and Sean Davis. Douglas is immediately onto him. Tugay then chases Sean Davis, and his ball is cut out by Gresko. In turn, he finds Cole, and then Tugay takes over. Back towards Gresko, who just chips the ball forward towards Stead. Knight will win the header, and then Douglas is there again for Rovers, wins that one. Tugay down towards Anderson. Anderson coming forward, looking for a runner. On the right-hand side, Lucas Neal is forward from fullback. faced by Bocanegra. Can he try and get round him? He's one-on-one, he goes inside the area. Boa-Morte comes across, that was a good challenge. And then Flitcroft, beaten by Boa-Morte as the Portuguese international looks to come forward. Great 1-2, Boa-Morte could be in here for Rovers. Great chance to equalise. Boa-Morte gets 3-0, it's 3-all! And Rovers' lead has lasted less than 10 minutes. A long break from halfway, played through. Boa-Morte was able to run free, and the tackle never came in from the Rovers defender. It was just slid past the outstretched left arm of Brad Friedel. And in a ding-dong game at Loftus Road, it's now Fulham 3, Rovers 3.
Well, I've got to say that was Martin Anderson, who wasn't just able to keep up the pace with Boa-Morte. He lost him there. Boa-Morte took the ball well, took exactly the right decision as he went into the box and sprayed it past Brad Friedel's outstretched left arm. And this game has ding-dong over. Fulham are back in it. It's Fulham 3, Rovers 3, and Rovers' heads for a moment have dropped.
Gresco will chip the ball forward. Well, they shouldn't drop the way they've played in this second half. They should be very proud of the way they've come out and the way they managed to get back into this match. Two-guy looks for the run of Cole, who's onside. Great header. Stead, is he taken down on the edge of the box? I can't believe a free kick hasn't been given for that. Referee Mike Dean, that was a really poor decision. Long ball forward towards Collins John. Amoruso heads it down to Craig Shaw, and Rovers are back in possession.
Well, the interesting thing was Lucas Neal had been on that little mazy run up on the right-hand side and just hadn't been able to track back there and left wide space, and Martin Anderson just was not able to get back quick enough.
That was a disappointing thing for Rovers. It came after Neal had broke forward for more or less the first time in this match, and Rovers were caught short at the back. Amoruso, deep inside his own half, picks up the ball and will look to just spray it long upfield. It's just pumped forward. Cole will rise in the air. He's beaten by Zat Knight, and Boa-Morte will pick the ball up. Headed back down to Bocanegra, who chips it down the left-hand touchline, and Legwinski will try and get there. Can he keep it in? He can't. It's out for a Rovers throw.
Well, there was one situation there where Flitcroft thought that Martin Anderson was going to pick that ball up, and you could almost hear him from where we are saying, "This is yours, Martin," and he wasn't able to pick the ball up. And that's been the big disappointment there, that Martin Anderson just was not able to collect that ball when it was his all the way.
Gresco goes past Volts, he then goes down under the challenge. Two-guy picks it up, spreads it left towards Jonathan Stead. Faced by Zat Knight, he cuts inside and again. Still has the ball, he lays it back to Two-guy. Will he fancy a shot? Looks for a run of Cole. He'll do well to keep that one in. Tries to lay it back, he finds Douglas. Stead's still there. Can he get a cross in now? Flick cross back post, headed away by Jetu, and then Gresco was on his heels. Fulham just about win possession back. Volts on the far side looks towards Malbronk, who's just drifted out this game totally. And Rovers have a throw, taken quickly towards Stead, who goes past one man. Douglas then chips it on, back down the left for Stead. Can he get a cross in? He does do. Cut out at the near post by Zat Knight, and it'll be a Rovers throw on the far side.
Great nice little 1-2 from Douglas and Stead there. Stead delivered a left foot ball, and it was just heading the direction of Andy Cole, who was just ahead of Van der Sar, didn't quite reach him. It's a Rovers throw.
Rovers will try a long throw. Zat Knight heads that one away. Anderson again was just too slow to react. He wins the ball back and lays it towards Douglas. He heads the ball on. It's going to go behind for a Fulham goal kick. I do think Anderson is a weak link in the Rovers side.
I wonder when Graham Souness is going to see it. We can certainly see it from our position up here. And you really do wonder when Graham Souness is going to decide to make a change there. And with Brett Emerton on the bench. But yet Rovers aren't playing badly.
No, they're not, but Anderson is always seeming to be half asleep. It's the pace of the English game that seems to be struggling at the moment. He just can't really cope with it. Gresco wins the header above Malbronk, and then Sean Davis collects, tries to turn away from two Rovers men. Douglas gets a foot in, but a free kick has been given against Jonathan Douglas.
Played well, Jonathan Douglas, no question about that.
Well, he has, and of course he scored a priceless equaliser for Rovers. Fulham look to come forward again. Lucas Neal will be able to just head that one back down to Brad Friedel. Neal will collect again on the right-hand side for Rovers, midway inside his own half. Chip ball forward, looking for the run of Cole. Goma just about gets ahead on that one. Flicked on by Jetu, and then Anderson controls and looks for Andy Cole. He finds Andy Cole. Stead's able to lay it to the left-hand side. Good ball for Gresco. Now can he get a cross in? Looking to go past his man who's Volts. Gresco with the outside of his left boot. Flings the ball in. It comes off Jonathan Stead's head. Bounces outside the area to the right-hand side to Gary Flitcroft. He'll have to go backwards. There's no one really there for him. And then Lucas Neal slides in but can't get there. Boa-Morte trying to get past Lucas Neal. Neal does well in the end and finds Amoruso. Amoruso in turn Goes all the way back to Brad Friedel. Kick long upfield. Knight will win that header comfortably. He chested it down straight to Jonathan Douglas though, and then Stead tries to play the through ball towards Cole. It's come off. I think, Alan Gomer, and then on this near side, Bocanegra slides in, and it's a throw to Rovers.
I think it's probably a good job Bocanegra slid in there, because Gary Flitcroft flung a boot at that. If he hadn't been an inch or two further down, he'd have taken his head off.
Neil with a throw for Rovers. It's in towards Cole. Cole back to Lucas Neal, and then just pumped towards the edge of the Fulham box. Douglas, it goes over his head. Volts on the far side. The Fulham right, he'll try to clear. Up towards Sean Davis. Gresco slides in, but Malbronk's able to get that ball, and it could be 4-on-4 here for Fulham. Malbronk still running with the ball, and Anderson slipped. This is real danger for Rovers. Looks for a run of Collins. John Amoruso's there. In the end, he tried a shot from an acute angle. It was always going wide of Brad Friedel's goal.
Well, these are the sort of games you hear Manchester City playing, don't you? All out attack, no defence. 3-3 the scoreline, and it could be anybody's game.
My nerves are absolutely shattered.
And we've got a long drive home.
I know. 25 minutes left in this second half. It's Fulham 3, Rovers 3, and it really has been, especially the second half, an all-action encounter. Neither side able to control the other. Ball forward from two guys. Stead is just offside. It'll be a Fulham free kick.
Jonathan Stead's played a lot better today.
I think defensively Fulham have looked quite poor, and that's the difference. He has been able to almost boss around the Fulham defenders, which he wasn't able to do against Liverpool and Leeds. And him and Cole have looked a threat every time they've gone forward. But what does Graham Souness think now? It's a big decision whether he decides to chase this game and go for the win, or whether he tries for his team to hold out. Short wins a header. Flitcroft gets a touch, and then two guy and Anderson between them managed to get it away, but it'll be taken. The free kick will have to come back to where the incident occurs. Rovers tried to steal 5 yards there, and a bit of a break and a bit of a breather for everyone, and it's needed after the way this second half has gone.
Well, I think the big decision for Graham Souness maybe won't come for the next 10 or 15 minutes, because Rovers aren't playing badly at all.
They're not, but I still think that Fulham aren't on song. They have a decent record here at Loftus Road, but you do feel that this game could be here for the taking, and especially after the results earlier on, 3 points would be so much better than 1. Although I think for Rovers the main thing is not to get beat tonight. Ball towards Flitcroft on the almost the right wing for Rovers.
Well, he has been playing as a right winger, and how Gary Flitcroft is finding the legs, I've no idea. Played a full 90 minutes on Saturday. And how much we need Gary Flitcroft to be on song.
Long throw to Rovers. Neal hurls the ball in. It's flicked on by Short. It falls again for Lucas Neal. Can he get a cross in? He does do. It's a deep one. Cole will challenge with Van der Sar. Van der Sar does well to collect that one. I think Andy Cole was ready for any leftovers if Van der Sar had have spilled that one. Maybe if he had have done, a foul would have been given against the Rovers striker. In the end, there was no danger, and Fulham can now clear upfield. Bocanegra looks for Malbronk. Douglas gets a touch, and Gresco will just play the ball down the Rovers left-hand side. Vols controls on his chest and then lays it down the line to Malbronk. Jonathan Douglas does a fantastic job defensively. Malbronk has just run that ball out under pressure from Jonathan Douglas, and Rovers have a throw.
You almost feel as if Rovers maybe are just running out of a little bit of steam here. You wonder whether Graham Souness has said you've got to go out there, you've got to get a couple of goals. They've done it, but then they've also conceded one, which has brought the scores level again. What a ding-dong game this has been. Rovers leading 1-0, then Fulham 1-1, Fulham 2-1, Rovers 2-2, Rovers 3-2, now Fulham 3-3.
Free kick to Rovers taken by Gresco and just whipped towards the edge of the penalty area. It falls for Douglas, who tries a shot. It dips, but it's going to go well wide behind for a Fulham goal kick, and you can't blame him from trying after he scored before, can you?
I think Van der Sar might have had that one covered. More like a rugby kick, that one.
Why not try one from there, though? Played really well. I didn't think he did anything wrong when he was in the team before, Jonathan Douglas. And he's proved Graham Souness right by selecting him for tonight with that second goal. It's currently 3-3 though. Rovers play it down the right-hand side. Cole beaten in the air, and then it comes off. It clearly came off Legwinski there. Out for a Fulham throw though. Boccanegra takes it, looking down the touchline towards Boamorte. Both Neil and Amoruso are over there. It falls for Legwinski, who will look to chip the ball in. Short can clear it for Rovers, only as far as Jetu, just inside the Rovers half. Back to this left-hand side, and Boccanegra whips it in. Short will get there with the head. Will it fall for Boamorte? He's given quite a bit of space by Rovers defenders there, trying to go on the left-hand side. He turns one way, turns the other, lays it back to Legwinski, just chipped to the back post. Short flicks that one away. It should be picked up by Collins John on the far side. Back towards Sean Davis. Two guys over there as well. Gresco at his back, trying to get a hold of the Liberian-born Dutch youth international. Again flicked on the right-hand side. Collins John is onside. He can't keep the ball in though. It's behind for a Rovers goal kick.
Well, I wonder if Rovers are now maybe just gathering a little bit of steam, ready for mounting another pressured attack on the Fulham defence, who've been a fragile Fulham defence in this match. Rovers need to just hold fire. They need to be able to consolidate for another 10-15 minutes, but they really have got this game in the taking.
Well, they've certainly been the better of the two sides in the second half. I think Fulham might just have shaded the first, but there's no doubt that Rovers have been the better in this second period. Friedel will take his goal kick. It's towards the right-hand side, and Flitcroft will rise in the area. He looked to be fouled. Nothing's given as Cole collects for Rovers. Back to Flitcroft, and it's just chipped towards the corner of the penalty area towards Stead. Zat Knight gets there first, but it should be a Rovers ball. Cole battles well, and it comes off Jetu, and it's out for a Rovers throw. Again, I think that Rovers will just wait for the long throw. Neil will take it. I think they're contemplating sending a striker forward. Oh, sorry, a central defender forward. I suppose it would be natural to have a striker inside their penalty area. Neil will again try and hurl it into the Fulham penalty area. Flitcroft rises. It's come back to this near side, and Lucas Neil will have another long throw. This time Lorenzo Amoruso does make his way forward.
It's obviously a work move, that, the near post flick on from Gary Flitcroft.
Well, it's worked once in this second half. It goes in towards Amoruso. He gets a touch on that one. Again, Rovers appeal for handball. It comes back out to this right-hand side to Neil. Great cross in at the far side. Zat Knight can clear. Malbronk will pick up with Jonathan Douglas at his back, and Douglas is doing a good job. A great job by Jonathan Douglas. He's fouled Steed Malbronk there, but why not give a free kick deep inside Fulham territory rather than let the home side break?
I thought it was very interesting there how when Rovers finally delivered that cross in after a little bit of a 1-2 with Amoruso, that unlike Fulham, there were no Rovers players ready to attack the ball. They almost had decided that since Rovers were going to get nothing from it, they'd all start retreating, where Fulham, for their set pieces, have decided to press on till the ball's gone dead.
18.5 minutes left here at Loftus Road, and this game really is finally poised at Fulham 3, Rovers 3. Rovers took the lead through Andy Cole. 2 goals from Collins John put Fulham ahead at the interval. Then Jonathan Douglas equalised. Lorenzo Amoruso regave Rovers the lead, and then Luis Boamorte equalised. It currently stands at 3-3, and there is so much tension around this ground. It really is a close affair between these two sides, who of course not too long ago were the two that promoted from the First Division. Boccanegra chips the ball forward. Amoruso's header isn't the best, and Davis will pick up out to Legwinski on this left-hand side. Infield to Malbronk, looking to turn away from Anderson. Anderson just beaten by a quick turn of pace. It's a good cross to the back post. Gresco heads that one away from Collins John, and it will go out on Fulham's right-hand side for a throw to the home side.
Good defensive header from Bratislav Gresco. Good cross from out on the left wing for Fulham.
Looks as though Fulham might try a long throw now. It's been left for Moritz Volz. Taken short into Sean Davis, back to Volz, who controls first time and then tries to turn past Jonathan Douglas. Douglas wants a free kick. He's trying to let the ball go out for a corner. Instead, the German defender has fouled Jonathan Douglas, and Rovers will have a free kick.
Coming very close to getting my man of the match award, Jonathan Douglas played a very, very, very grown-up game here for Rovers.
He has done exceptionally well. I think the one thing you will get from Jonathan Douglas is 120% effort, very much in the Gary Flitcroft mould. He will just battle, he will throw himself into tackles, he'll do his job defensively, and he's a team player rather than a sparkling individual. Worryingly for Rovers, Fulham having quite a bit more of the ball at the moment as Boamorte picks it up and immediately thinks about running at the Rovers defence. It's laid central towards Ledwinski. It goes towards Collins John. The striker can't take it in his stride, and it goes behind for a Rovers goal kick.
It is worrying for Rovers because they're now allowing play to move right into Rovers half, whereas right at the start of this first half and second half, and for the certainly first 30 minutes of the second half, it's been very much pressure on Fulham apart from the break. and the goal that brought Fulham back into this game.
Having said that, I think you would expect a quiet few minutes after the way Rovers started this second half. Stead beaten in the air. Goma then heads it away. Flitcroft beats him, and then Stead flicks it on, looking for Cole. Cole tries to lay it back to Stead, who shoots and scores for Rovers! A 7th goal in a quite remarkable match. The 4th goal for Rovers in this game, the 4th for Jonathan Stead in his Blackburn career, and it's now Fulham 3, Rovers 4. For the second time in 2 seasons, Rovers score 4 away from home against Fulham, and could that be the goal that will decide this quite remarkable encounter?
Well, once again, it was great work from Gary Flitcroft. He won the ball, he played it to Andy Cole, and the little flick on from Andy Cole for Jonathan Stead was absolutely superb. It was stupendous. And when Jonathan Stead took that shot, again, there was no other place it was going than in the back of Edwin van der Sar's net.
Well, now can Rovers hold on to the lead? It's the second time in this match they've taken the lead as Fulham look to come forward a ball towards it. Collins John on the far side. Brad Friedel marches to the edge of his penalty area and collects. Well, now Graham Souness has a decision. Does he go for an extra man at the back? Maybe take Martin Anderson off and give Rovers that little bit more security in defence. Stead does well. He tries to turn his man. Can he get a shot in? Left-footed. Van der Sar saves. Well, what can you say about this match? Rovers have been quite literally superb in this second half. And I don't know what Graham Souness said, but if any Blackburn fan worried whether these players were up for the fight in this relegation battle, all they need do is watch these minutes that we've had so far at Loftus Road. Rovers have been wonderful, especially since half-time.
Well, we've often said that one of the things that you question about Rovers is the commitment in battle at times, and today I think we've seen not only commitment in battle, but commitment that can help win a war as far as Rovers are concerned. And it will be a war going into the final few games of the season, especially with Portsmouth getting victory earlier on today. And Rovers have victory in their grasp as well.
Fulham come forward on their left-hand side through Legwinski. Lays it back to Bocanegra, and now Rovers just need to keep tight at the back. Neil's very advanced at the moment, but Fulham struggling to find a way through. Rovers have got virtually everyone behind the ball. Neil cuts it out for Rovers and then just chips it down the line. One for Jonathan Stead to chase. Bocanegra controls, his touch is a poor one and Stead robs him. Stead on the right-hand side for Rovers. Can he get a cross in it or win a corner? He does lay it into the box. It comes off Jetu. Two guy will try and get there for Rovers. Jetu gets a touch and then Douglas steps in. It's gone. I think the referee will pull play back for a foul by Two guy, and it will be a free kick to Fulham.
But the interesting thing there was when Two guy was down on the floor and the ball broke free, Jonathan Douglas was prepared to sprint 15 yards to try and pick a ball up, which was Fulham's all the way. I can't see Rovers players keeping their legs the way they've performed.
Oh, they have to, and they will do, because this game now means so much to Rovers, not just for tonight, but in the whole context of this season. Ball forward from Anderson. Cole's onside. If it'll bounce for him, it won't do, but Rovers have men breaking forward. Cole takes it. Will he try his look from distance? He does do. It hits the defender, and now Fulham should clear through Volts. Chip forward, up over halfway. Johns controls. Faced by two Rovers defenders, and Anderson robs him. Cole's still onside. It was chipped towards the right-hand side when it should have gone towards Andy Cole on the left, and it's straight through to Edwin van der Sar.
Poor ball from Anderson there, won it in midfield, and all he needed was a little delicate flick. It was a very, very flat line with the Rovers players staying well onside, and that could have been another goal for Rovers. That could have been a fifth. 12.5 minutes left in this match. Bocanegra lays it back to van der Sar, who kicks upfield. It's towards Lucas Neal, who I think was just blinded by the floodlights there temporarily. He heads it down to this right-hand side. Flitcroft will keep it in. He just chips it up in the air. It will bounce towards the corner of the Fulham penalty area, but it just uses up a few more seconds, and we have 12 minutes plus injury time left here at Loftus Road, and it has been an awesome encounter. I know that Sky picked these matches, you know, to obviously try and get the viewers in because there'll be good games, and after last year when Rovers won 4-0, they obviously thought there might be a repeat this year, and the people watching, hopefully they won't be watching, hopefully you'll, obviously if you are listening, you'll be able to hear us, but there you go. There's always one moment in every match, and I've just had it. But I hope that everyone is watching Blackburn's display tonight, because they have been superb. Well, except those who are listening.
Oh, I don't know where I am now. I'm just lost in this match. I don't quite know what is going on. Fulham make a substitution. On comes Bobby Petter to replace Sean Davis.
Oh, I don't know about the players being out of breath. I don't know about the players asking for water. We've gone through 3 bottles already up here in the commentary position. And I'll tell you something, we'll need another one before the game's finished, I'm sure. The chauffeur might have to go and get one.
Petter gets his touch. First touch. Flitcroft wins the ball in the air. It's down the left-hand side towards Legwinski. Lucas Neal gets a foot in. It's out for a Fulham throw. On their left-hand side, midway inside the Rovers half, Petter will take. They're kicking towards their home end. Petter gets first real chance to have the ball at his feet, and he skips away from Martin Anderson. Good play, and then Two-Guy gets a touch for Rovers. Flitcroft now lays it forward towards Stead, and Rovers are hoping to break. Cole's offside. He's delayed the pass. Andy Cole was always offside there. Nothing really that Jonathan Stead could do. Goma tries to come forward. He's crowded out by Douglas and Anderson, and then in the end Gresco, just right-footed, whacks the ball to the far side or the near side as we look towards Cole. Gets a touch on it, then Bocanegra just plays it forward right-footed. Amaruso controls on his chest, lays the ball back to Brad Friedel. It's a bouncing ball, but Friedel is able to put that one high in the air. It'll land inside the centre circle. Volts totally misses his header, and then Zach Knight wins the second one. Craig Short then bursts from defence to head the ball clear. It's just a long punt back upfield. It should bounce nicely for Brad Friedel inside the area. It does do, and Rovers should be able to relieve the pressure for another moment. Less than 10 minutes left in this match. Friedel kicks long upfield. Zach Knight heads that one back up to our halfway. Douglas, who's been one of the star performers for Rovers, heads it up, and then Volts only flicks a pass against Two-Guy's head. Again it goes forward. Stead will give chase. Volts can pick up though for Fulham. He turns away from Two-Guy and looks to the right hand side. Malbronk's there. I think Fulham have gone for a more authentic wide approach now with 2 wingers. Poor pass from Malbronk, and Gresco gets a foot in. Douglas then looks to the left and finds Stead. Stead against Zach Knight. He cuts in field. Will he try another shot from distance? He does do. He screwed that one wide. It's gone behind for a Fulham goal kick.
Well, we talked before the match started about the poor state of this Loftus Road pitch, the pitch that Fulham are borrowing for yet another season, whilst Craven Cottage is given a new lease of life. And I've got to say, just as Jonathan Stead was lining up his shot there, the ball must have bounced at least a foot off the ground. And that was a real unfortunate bounce, because Jonathan Stead was lining up for a shot. I'd have given him a benefit of the doubt there. I think that one could have been wonderfully on target, but a poor bounce. And Rovers are still creating chances.
The one he did get on target, the 4th goal, would you say that the goalkeeper should have done better? Because it did seem to go below Edwin van der Sar.
I don't really care.
No, I know. Well said. Hear, hear. Rovers free kick just inside their own half. Amaruso will take it. Chip towards the left-hand side towards Stead. He lets it bounce once. Can he keep it in? He can't do it. It's gone behind for a Fulham goal kick.
That's a shame for Rovers. Jonathan Stead has worked really, really hard throughout the game, and I think he was given far too much to do there. And what Rovers have done is just given the initiative back to Fulham.
Well, what Rovers need to do is show a little bit of experience and maybe take the ball into corners and start using up a few seconds, or a minute here and a minute there. Cole's got goal side of Zach Knight. Free kick looked as though it might go Rovers' way, didn't in the end. Then Bocanegra wins a header. Petter rises. Was he fouled by Flitcroft? Neal heads it on. Anderson is able to control it on his chest, and it's, well, no chances taken by Rovers anymore. It's just pumped forward, and I guess that's the right idea, because the front two have caused Fulham no end of trouble all night.
And Rovers' formation hasn't changed. Here at Loftus Road on Rovers World and rovers.co.uk, Fulham 3, Blackburn Rovers 4.
Chip ball forward towards Boamorte. Gresco is there for Rovers, and he has to clear it out for a Fulham throw. On the right hand side it'll be level with the edge of the Rovers penalty area, although they steal a couple of yards, as is mandatory with every throw in really. And Fulham will make another substitution, and it's, well, this would be a real story if this man came on and took the points off Rovers. Brian McBride will come on, the man who could have joined Rovers during the transfer window, instead decided to join Fulham. He will replace Steed Malbronk. And that will now make it 3 American internationals on the pitch, and it would also mean 2 men up front for Fulham. And he's a big man as well, McBride. He will certainly cause Rovers problems in the air. Still waiting for the throw to be taken. on the far side. It looks as though Volts will try and hurl this in, a long one. It's towards McBride. Gresco half heads that one away. It falls to Legwinski, who tries to put it back into the edge of the box. Collins was onside after a flick. What an opportunity, unmarked, 8 yards away from goal, and he blasted over the top.
Well, I just suddenly saw the whole season evaporating in the space of 30 seconds there as that ball was pumped back in. Rovers had cleared it, good header from Vratislav Gresco. The ball was just hoofed in. It was a little flick on, and Collins John could have had his hat-trick.
Well, he certainly wasn't offside, but that was a real escape for Rovers, and I wonder whether Graham Souness might decide, with Fulham having brought an extra attacker on, to maybe go for an extra defender. Stead wins the header and finds Andy Cole. It's a great flick on, and Cole's being fouled all the way. Douglas takes it past his man, left-hand side of the penalty area. Flitcroft his back post. Douglas doing a good job there. He's just going towards the corner, trying to eat up a few more seconds, like we said just a couple of moments ago, and he wins Rovers a throw-in.
Well, I think Jonathan Douglas was caught there because he doesn't have a good left foot. He could have crossed the ball there. There was Andy Cole and Jonathan Stead both in the penalty box, but he decided to take it out in the corner. I don't like this safety first. I'd like another goal.
5 minutes left at Loftus Road. It's Rovers 4, Fulham 3. And it's a topsy-turvy match which has swung one way, then the other. It's now in Rovers' favour, and they have less than 5 minutes to hold on, which would, for what would be an absolutely enormous 3 points in the whole context of this season. Gresco finds Douglas, still on the left-hand side. Rovers trying to keep possession. He in turn finds Tugai, and then his chip ball towards the edge of the box is blocked, and this could spell a Fulham break. McBride gets a touch, and then Tugai just plays that one out for a Fulham throw.
And the crowd cheer because Tugai, having already conceded the throw-in, decided once again to just make sure the ball had left a field of play, and in doing so I think gave a steward a late Easter egg.
Throw taken towards McBride, and then Volts wins it back. It's again find itself at McBride's feet. It's headed towards inside the Rovers area. Not a convincing header by Craig Shaw. It could have gone back for Brad Friedley, doesn't do, and Boa Morte outside the area lays it back to Volts. He tries a cross, it comes off Jonathan Douglas. It's out for a Fulham throw.
Graham Souness keeps faith with the 11 who started as the time ticks away.
Nervy moments here, and Fulham will make their third substitution of this match, and it will be the man who scored 2 goals, Collins John, who comes off, and Barry Hales will come on. So there will be no hat-trick for Collins John. He should so easily have had it just a couple of moments ago, and maybe the former Rovers defender Chris Coleman, who now of course manages here at Fulham, has decided that that was a sign of tired legs, and Barry Hales comes on. McBride is the man who looks as though he wants to take the throw on the far side. It's a long throw, headed away by Short. It'll go out again for another Fulham long throw, and Rovers have everyone apart from Jonathan Stead back inside the penalty area. I'm surprised at that, the height of him. McBride looks as though he'll line himself up for another long throw. He takes a curved run as he goes to throw it in. It's then hurled towards the edge, the centre of the penalty area. Douglas heads it away for Rovers. Stead does a good job of just battling back, and then Douglas on the far side trying to keep it in. He's given away a free kick and given Fulham the chance to get the ball into the Rovers penalty area.
Well, Fulham have scored from 2 free kicks in this game. Let's hope they don't make it third time lucky as well.
2.5 minutes left in this match. Looks as though it might be Petter to take this free kick. It's whipped in left-footed, deep to the back post. The heads go up. Flitcroft gets a touch on that for Rovers. Instead now has the ball. Can he find a pass? In the end, he goes right down the right-hand side for Rovers and decides to chase after his own clearance. Van der Sar is outside his area. Van der Sar finds Boa Morte, and Rovers will be more than happy if Boa Morte stays deep inside his own half. Amoruso was fouled. It will be a Rovers free kick.
And the Fulham players go and consult referee Mike Dean and question his decision, but the decision has been made, and Rovers will eat up a few vital seconds as Rovers now make their substitution.
And Rovers will take off Andy Cole, scorer of the first goal. He's played a massive part in Rovers' performance so far tonight. This is just to shore up the midfield. He gets a pat from Graham Souness, and he richly deserves that. Andy Cole has been one of the star players for Rovers this season. He's not scored the goals he would like to have done, but again, when we need a big performance from one of our big players, he's provided it.
I think Andy Cole despite what a lot of people think about Andy Cole has been absolutely superb.
Emerton gets his first touch, but the ball goes back through to Edwin van der Sar. We are just over a minute away from the 90, the full 90 in this match, as van der Sar kicks long upfield. Short wins a header. Douglas just pumps it forward, deep into the Fulham half. Zat Knight will pick up on the right-hand side, chips the ball diagonally. Header won by Amoruso. It comes away to the Fulham left-hand side. Emerton will give chase. It will go out, though, for a Fulham throw, and Dean Saunders just cannily dummies to give it back to the Fulham player, and then just lets the ball slip under his foot. Ball to the back post. It looked as though it was going above Gresco's head. Boa Morte has fouled him. It will be a Rovers free kick.
And this is where Vratislav Gresco just needs to calm it down. Doesn't need to. He's allowed the ball to drift into the penalty area, where Brad Friedel will saunter over. Needs to take care. Checks with his referee's assistant over to his right-hand side, left-hand side, and asks him whether his ball's in the right position. Rovers are living on a knife edge.
Doing a good job of wasting precious time in this match, though. Friedel kicks long upfield towards the Rovers left and towards Jonathan Stead, who rises in the air, gets a flick on. Knight will have to do some defending. He goes back towards the byline. Boa Morte flicks it on. Flitcroft wins a header for Rovers. It's out for a Fulham throw. There will be 3 minutes of added time in this match. We are over the 90 minutes now, and Rovers just need to hold firm for 2 and a bit more minutes. Infield on the far side is Volts. He finds Goma on the edge of his own centre circle, and then Bocanegra, who goes backwards towards Goma, and the Fulham fans don't like that. They need a goal and they need it quick. Rovers just need to hold out. Ball forward towards Amoruso. Was he fouled? It's inside the penalty area. It's put high in the air and over his own bar by Craig Short.
And a Rovers player there, Craig Short, is lying injured in agony there in the penalty box. I thought Craig Short was fouled here.
I thought Amoruso was fouled in the first place. I thought Rovers should have had a free kick. Short's got himself up.
No,
Corner to Fulham.
I think it's just a bad slip by Craig Short there. Slipped and fell on his own back.
Whipped in, it's headed away at the near post. Will it fall for Moritz Volts? It's on his left foot. He tries a shot. It's straight at Brad Friedel. It was on target. The American goalkeeper was always behind that one. And now Brad Friedel will look to kick long upfield. Emerton is on the right-hand side. It goes towards Brett Emerton, who wins the header and decides not in the end to give chase. Goma just lays it to his right-hand side towards van der Sar, who's outside his penalty area. He kicks long upfield. Short gets ahead on that one. Douglas on the far side. Is he fouled by Boa Morte? He is, and it's a Rovers free kick. Well played, Jonathan Douglas.
Couldn't agree more. Well played, Jonathan Douglas. Slightest of nudges. Jonathan Douglas has decided to play what other players have been doing all season, and that is to go down. Now here's Graham Souness eating up another valuable couple of seconds, and Jonathan Stead is replaced by the other Rovers young hopeful up front. It's Paul Gallagher, and Jonathan Stead gets a standing ovation from the London branch of the Rovers supporters over behind the goal which has seen Rovers score 3 times in at Loftus Road. It's Fulham 3, Blackburn Rovers 4, and the seconds really are ticking away.
Well, referee Mike Dean, how long are you going to allow in this match? You've done us no favours in previous games this season. Please put that whistle to your lips and blow up. Friedel kicks it straight out of play on the far side. It will be a Fulham throw, deep inside their own territory. Volts will take it, and this is exactly where Rovers want the ball to be. The German defender hurls it back to van der Sar, who coolly just plays it along the ground to Knight, and Tugai will give chase, and Tugai challenges but doesn't win the ball, and then Goma just puts it long upfield. Should be an easy header for Gresco. He puts it high in the air. It's still bouncing around on the edge of the Rovers box. Gresco now should clear. He does do. He puts it high up towards halfway. Knight wins the header above Gallagher. Just come on for Rovers. Volts then chips it back towards the edge of the Rovers box. Amoruso comes and gets, and the ball will fall for Tugai. Great trick, and now Tugai just plays the ball forward. Paul Gallagher will give chase. It's headed back towards Edwin van der Sar. The 3 minutes are up. The referee puts the whistle to his lips and blows up a quite remarkable game at Loftus Road, which Rovers have won in a 7-goal thriller. It's finished Fulham 3, Blackburn Rovers 4. Andy Cole gave Rovers the lead midway through the first half after Tugai's absolutely exquisite ball. 2 goals from Collins John, both from set pieces, sent Fulham in at half time with a 2-1 advantage inside the opening 5 minutes of the second half. Jonathan Douglas scored with a volley, Lorenzo Amoruso scored with a free kick, and Rovers were back in front. Then Boa Morsi raced clear to equalise for Fulham, and just when the game looked to be heading for a draw, Jonathan Stead latched onto Andy Cole's flick and drilled the ball past Edwin van der Sar with about 15 minutes left to secure 3 priceless points for Rovers. In one of the matches of the season, Rovers have shown their character. They've come through the test that was laid down to them after defeat against Leeds. And if you thought that Blackburn were rolling over and dying in this relegation battle, think again. It's finished Fulham 3, Rovers 4.